Hello everybody. So I'm going to be walking you through a word study, and we're going to be doing it on the platform blueletterbible.org. This website is one of my favorites. Of course, there are lots and lots of resources out there for concordances and how to look for the Strong's number, if you might even know it, or how to find it. I just think this is one of the most comprehensive tools that there is out there. It's the one that I go to most often, and I figured I would just go ahead and show you how to use it and how to do a word study in the most comprehensive way possible. So here you have the Search the Bible right here at the beginning of the website. Once you put in the website link, and so right here, you will be typing in, what we're going to work on today is the word hear, H-E-A-R. There we go. And we'll go ahead and stay in the King James Version. Keep in mind that if you want to switch out of that version, there are lots of options that you have to choose from. But most of the Strongs and different lexicons and dictionaries usually operate off of the King James Version unless they're very, very new. So just keep that in mind and be open about it. A lot of these tools also have ways for you to check the various translations. So at least you can search that down if you should have any questions about anything specific like that, and think that you need to check multiple translations for how one word is going to be represented from one text to the other. Okay, so here we have the search results. There are two things that you're going to want to look into here. You have the option to read any of these verses, see from Genesis, and it'll tell you right here, Genesis through Deuteronomy 21:21. If you come down to the very bottom of the page, you'll see that it's just this page that has that stops at Deuteronomy 21. Of course, this word appears all the way up through Revelation, and you can go ahead and click on any one of these. If you know that you're looking for the occurrence of the word here in the book of Matthew, for example, you're going to want to read either one of these and hop right in there to go ahead and get started in that search. Something to be aware of, you can do two options here. You have some toggles up here. You can do the Strong's number, which I recommend you click and make sure that those are showing up on here. Also note that you can come up here and look at the red letter, and you can toggle that on and off. Since we're going to be looking just at some of the verses here in Genesis, that's not going to matter as much as if we were in one of the Gospels, for example. So here, what we're looking at here is that you have the Strong's number, H for Hebrew. In the New Testament, it's going to be G for Greek, so H8085. That is the number as it is listed alphabetically by the Hebrew alphabet. Just keep that in mind. If you are looking at a hard copy concordance, of course, you're going to be looking at the alphabetical order of the Hebrew or the Greek, not looking at the alphabetized order according to the English language, because that's not what you're working with. So keep that in mind. Hear my voice. Now, you have two options here. Before I do this, you do have the option to click right there and just go ahead and go straight to the comprehensive page just on that Strong's entry. However, before we do that, I want to show you your tools option. By hovering over it, it will show you all of these options that you have to click on, and you can select anyone individually, or I recommend you just click tools, because it's going to pull all of them up in a separate window that will have individual tabs for each of those options you could have selected. What this is going to do is this is going to take us outside of the search results, which gave us every occurrence throughout the biblical text of where here is, and this takes us directly to Genesis 4, into the verse that we had clicked on, which was verse 23. And so when it scrolls down to verse 23 and opens up the window, we'll see what kind of options it has for you to see how many resources there are just on this verse. You can see listed at the top, as per the Masoretic text, this is the pointed verse from the Torah scroll. If you wanted to take off those vowel points and reread it, study outside of the Masoretic pointing, I recommend that. It bears some interesting fruit. The other option you have is to put on the cantillation marks with or without the vowel points. If you do the canting, this is a really, really, really fantastic tool to get to the point where you can cant even like that. So as you scroll down, you have the King James translation, the Strong's number as the reference number, root form. Keep that in mind. Amar, this is a good example here, said. Vayomer is how that's going to appear in the text. It's conjugated when it's up here in the verse, but down here you have the root form. Don't get confused by that, especially with something like translated, and unto his wives. Isha means wife. It doesn't mean unto his wives. It is the root here. Where it's found up here in the text will mean unto his wives. So just keep those things in mind. And from there, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down. We are looking for here. There's our word, Shema. And we're going to click on the Strong's number from here. As I said, you can go directly from the last page of search results to the individual Strong's page and just jump right into that with if that's where you know you're going. But if you want to look at each individual word and the whole sentence in the Hebrew, in the original Greek, if that's what's applicable, then you're going to want to go to the tools bar. And that's what I like to operate out of more than anything, because it's often you'll stumble upon things you didn't know you were looking for. So this one is a primitive root. Pay attention to the root word etymology section right here. Keep in mind that there will be other Strong's numbers which are their roots will be listed in this section here. So, for example, 8085 is Shema. Oftentimes, what you can do is you can look at the next Strong's number in the list, 8086. And by clicking this little arrow up here, you can go to that next entry. And what you'll often find is it's the same letters, often pointed differently, corresponding to the root Shama, and there's just a little bit of a difference in how this is translated. Keep in mind that you do need to look up and down what may be 5 entries all related to the same word, same meaning, and go ahead and use each one of those as part of your study to draw conclusions for what that may mean in the context of what you're trying to learn and understand. So, back on this page, we're back at 8085. I'm going to scroll down and let you see what kind of things come up here. You have the translation count, total 1,115 times in the text. And keep in mind that's going to be Old Testament because we are talking about the Hebrew here. King James, and here's a little clue for you. This is a word that I chose specifically because it is quite interesting. Of course, it's translated here, hearken, obey, publish, understand, obedient, diligently, show, sound, declare, discern, noise, perceive, tell, reported, and 33, miscellaneous. That's a weird one. That would be one to certainly track down. So down here, it's going to show according to the grammatical way that they're represented, the nifal, hifil, that's how they're going to be translated. And if you know more of the Hebrew grammar, that's going to make more sense to you. Otherwise, all you need to know is that these are the various definitions of what Shema can mean. There is a Strong's definition in here that's going to give you what any of these that it can be translated into. I do love the resource of the Gesenius's Hebrew Chaldee lexicon. Now, I always love to expand the entry, and keep in mind it's going to show some Arabic and I'm assuming Ethiopian. We're talking about word derivations here in the other Semitic languages that they come from. So you don't necessarily need to be able to read the Arabic. If you can, fantastic. If not, it's not the end of the world. You will still be able to pull fantastic amounts of information from this. And as you can see, for any one of the parts where it's saying to attend to any person or thing followed, I'm not sure what that abbreviation is going to be. It would probably be something you could pull from the fact that it lists several verses for reference. To hear anything, testis auritus fuit. There you go. Throw in some Latin right there, and I'm not even going to try with that. So this is a really awesome resource, and it's just one that if the more you can understand from it, great, but you'd be surprised even as a layman what kinds of things you can pull from that, as long as you know what you're reading, just to expect that it's going to have a little blurb of how it's translated according to what, and then it's going to show you those verses where it's translated that way. And it seems a little convoluted, but just power through. There's a lot of good information in there. Next thing you're going to have is at the bottom of each of these here, it's going to be similar to these tabs up here. You can look at the previous Strong's, next Strong's, and go through and find out how many related Strong's numbers there are to the word that you're trying to figure out. Keep in mind that these results down here are all going to be for 8085, as opposed to putting in the word here where all the results we're going to get are going to show where here occurs, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're seeing all of the occurrences of Shema. Shema, because it's not always translated as here, what you're going to want to do is do the reverse search. Thankfully, what this website allows you to do is that it lays all the information out for you. You don't need to go somewhere else to search everywhere the 8085 is occurring, where everywhere that Shema would be, it's done the work for you, and you can come scrolling through here and see hearkened, heard, let's see if we can find an obey. There you go. And in thy seed all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Very provocative to go in and study what each of those things is going to mean. Scroll down all the way to the bottom. As we said before, search results are often continued all the way through, and you can get a good idea of what is available there. Now, this was a crash course into what kinds of tools you're going to find. Please leave me comments, questions, concerns, so that maybe I can make a new video to talk you through something and actually figure out where you're having trouble or what kinds of things you need to understand about these tools that are available to you. At least right now you know, plug a word into the search engine and you'd have this amazing tool at your disposal to just get up and go. So, like I said, comment, like, share, whatever. Let me know how I can make these videos better for you in the future. Thanks. Have a great one.